Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we are doing another Kaladesh friendly draft league. If you like the content on this channel, please subscribe and like the video. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to try, once again, to try and draft the packs rather than draft what I intuitively want to draft, which is, of course, Jund aggro stuff. Any two-color combination between that. So I could take the Architect here, which is reasonable. Go for the energy deck. Could also take the Prism. I almost feel like Prism will inevitably make something more interesting, right? Because it will allow me to splash for things, and it also keeps me completely open. So I think it's debatable what is more interesting for you guys. But I'm actually going to, I think, go for the Prism here. I think I'm going to go for something that would allow me to go 3, 4, 5 color. I actually think that would be more interesting for you folks. All right, well, I could have gotten Architect with Long Tusk Cub, but I think now we take the Long Tusk Cub because Cub is just one of those cards that takes a game over. So that's still fine. I'm still happy to have a Prism. I mean, it's going to make the deck. There's also an Operative in here and an Outrider. So let's just take the Cub. Of course. I love Long Tusk Cub. Okay, well, we have a Minister, so we could go for that style of deck again. And maybe even Splash. Still definitely have the opportunity to Splash. Otherwise, there's an Appetite for the Unnatural, which isn't all that interesting. Really nothing is interesting in this pack other than the Minister of Inquiries, from what I'm seeing. So let's take the Minister. It's a fun deck anyway. So there's a Riparian Tiger. Not my favorite, but it is energy related, so we could take it. It's a fine finisher. There's also Select for Inspection, which is fine. Usually you don't need more than one bounce effect in your deck. I actually think Ether Tradewinds is better for this style of deck anyway, because you have Into the Battlefield abilities. So let's take the Tiger. I mean, if I had to choose between wanting to play blue or green based on what we have now, obviously I would much prefer to play the Cub over the Minister, but blue is typically open, so I think we might just be able to make this work anyway. I hope people aren't upset that I didn't take the Architect, but I wasn't anticipating getting a Cub the next pick. Maybe I should have been. That's tough to guess. So we have a Eager Construct, a Bomat Courier. Splashing the Bomat Courier ability off a Prism seems a bit excessive. So Appetite versus Eager Construct. Which one do I like more? Well, Appetite is very much main deckable, but so is Construct. I don't love bears in this format, especially since it looks like our deck. And yes, I do not consider Long Tusk Cub a bear. That is not a bear. But I think 2/3s are better. I think we'll take the Appetite for now. Mostly because I think Eager Construct's better in a deck that would want to be heavy artifacts. And I think this deck is looking like we really want to devote ourselves to energy. Obviously, it's still very early. I can do whatever I want. So there's Artisan now versus Cobra. I think it's likely that Cobra is better. Artisan can stop flyers, which is nice. But I actually think I would prefer to have the Death Touch. It can be very useful on the ground. And, yeah, and it's colorless. Okay. We'll take the Cobra now. Okay. So what do we have here that's of any interest? Core Prowler is a big finisher. 5 and 6 drops are easy to find. There's an Eddy Trail Hawk, which could still put us in maybe a green-white energy deck. Hawk with Cub is some very, very good synergy. Otherwise, I'd take maybe a Torch Gauntlet, which I find very much playable. Let's just take the Hawk here, I think. Let's take the Hawk. Maybe I'll splash for Minister of Inquiries. We'll see. Maybe the Minister Wheels, to be honest. Okay, so there is this Ether Tradewinds and an Ambition, but we'll take the Sage here and continue to get energy cards. Well, we got the Appetite back. Is Disappearing Act playable? It's probably playable. I mean, I'm fine taking a second Appetite. There is a Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot. Maybe I just want this. Yeah, you know, I never play this card. I actually think it's better than it looks. And like I said, we are a deck that's probably going to want some energy synergy, so I'll take it over a second Appetite. All right, I guess we can take the Hermit. It's playable. I guess we can, well, maybe I want the Herald in case we end up green-white still. Okay, I mean, it just seems so unlikely I would play the Puzzle not being in red, of course. Probably here I'd take the Vendor over the Gauntlet and the Puzzle Knot. I don't want to play the Vendor, but we'll cut blue. Well, Puzzle Knot's probably better, but the problem is, once again, this is a card that kind of wants you to be a little bit more artifact-y and not as much, well, we'll still probably take it. It's just so unlikely I play the Curio Vendor that it just seems much more likely, even though I'm not likely anything relating to artifacts or artifact synergies just based on the energy cards we have. I think it's fine that we can take that. Oh, that's an awesome rare to open. So yeah, we're probably just going to take the Hydra here. Very good. For now, I feel like I just want to move my white cards to the side. None of these are really worth splashing for, including the Eddy Trailhawk, despite being a card that is energy related. Bristling Hydra just looking perfect in our deck right now. Once again, I really apologize for not taking that Architect. I'm only regretting it now just because we ended up being such an energy-laden deck. But that's okay. That's all right. Like I said, we'll probably still end up playing the Prism, and who knows, maybe we will find a very good card to splash here. I hope we do. Kumbal, it's a little bit unexciting to splash, especially considering we're likely not white or black. Creeping Mold is clunky. Consulate Skygate is fine, but I'd probably just play an Artisan over it. I'd rather have access to 2 bodies for 1 more mana, or an Artificer in green, maybe. There's a Select for Inspection, which is playable but not terribly exciting. This whole pack is kind of full of unexciting things. Like, Live Fast is energy related, but not worth it on the splash. Torch Gauntlet Wield last time. There's really not much here I want or need. I guess since I'm completely devoid of removal other than Appetite, maybe I'll just take the Select for Inspection now. It's just like, Artisan is fairly unexciting. I think anything I take from this pack, I'm not going to be super excited about anyway. So Territorial Gorger, last time I did not splash for this card. Currently we have one... the problem is Long Tusk Cub does not work well with Territorial Gorger. When you get the energy, it would be post-combat. So that's not really going to work, but... I mean, we have the Prism. Gorger is energy related. Perhaps we try splashing it and see if it works. It could be. Yeah, it could be. I probably much prefer a Blossoming Defense, to be honest, but what are the chances that Gorger wheels? Honestly, I guess it's not that likely. I would prefer to take the Blossoming Defense, but just for the sake of an energy-related rare, it's not that exciting with Splash. If you only add energy to your side once per turn, it's only a 4/4 trample. All right, I'll still take it. I think, honestly, I probably should have just taken the Blossoming Defense. I think it's a much, much better card, but I am trying to actively do more interesting things for you folks. So we'll take the Attune with Ether here over the Glimmer. I think they're both good, but Attune is, once again, with our Prism, going to let us splash things easier. So I like that. Metalwork Colossus. Well, we don't have a lot of artifacts that are non-creatures too, right? Yeah, and we're not really going for that strategy, so it just seems very, very unlikely that I would get any use out of Metalwork Colossus. Subtle Strike's not worth the splash. Vidalcan Blade Master is playable. We have some things that work with it. Spontaneous Artist may be something we can consider splashing and go for more of a... like a... rug build. I don't know why it took me so long. Let's take the Artist, whatever. We'll take it. Let's see here. So, I mean, Self-Assembler, you can go on that plan. It's not what I want to do. I want to do something energy-related. Splashing Furious Reprisal. It's probably not worth it, but otherwise, I mean, if I knew I was getting an Electrostatic Pummeler somewhere, I could probably take the Larger Than Life again. Let's take the Reprisal. I don't think it's particularly good. It's probably not worth the splash, but I don't really want to play any of these cards. None of them are super related to the strategy that I'm trying to make here. Okay, we probably just take another Sage. Try and get those energy payoffs. So I'd like the modules if I could too. Let's see. Built a Splash, not worth the splash. Or built a Smash, not worth the splash. There's a tongue twister. 5 times fast, folks. Let's take the Artisan here. Core Prowler, Fragmentize, Puzzle Knot. We'll take the Torch Gauntlet. We have some fairly unexciting creatures now on the low end, so making them able to kill our opponent probably is going to work just fine. Well, we got the... Now we take the foily one. No, we'll take the Creeping Mold, although we already have Appetite, so pretty pointless, but maybe there's an enchantment we need to take care of. Wait, Appetite does that too. Maybe there's a land we need to take care of? It seems pretty unlikely. We can take the Assembler, still possibly go on that plan. I'd probably just take the Construct. It's not exactly what I want to do anyway, but I'm not a huge fan of the Self-Assembler plan that much anyway. Oh man, the late night market lookout. Well, I guess we cut the green card. Sequestered Stash? No, I don't think that's going to happen either. All the Wily Bandars. We're just cutting green from these packs as much as we can. Okay, so I think we're going to be able to make this work, but we need a little bit of help. All right, Imperial Voyager, there we go. It is spot on, something related to what we're doing. It has evasion, energy related. Unfortunately, once again, does not have good synergy with Territorial Gorger. I wish Gorger gave you... Well, I guess it would be too good, wouldn't it? Honestly, I wish Gorger read... Whenever you get... I wish it got +1/+1 for each energy that you got. I feel like then it may be a little bit less breakable. Or maybe +1/+0 for each energy you got. Maybe that's actually too bad. I actually think just +1/+1 for each energy you got would be perfectly acceptable and probably not easily breakable. So I'm going to take the Voyager over the Edgecrafter because it is energy related. There we go, Fabrication Module. Right exactly in time, exactly what we're looking for. I'm just going to get rid of these white cards now. So Fabrication Module. There is a Theorist in here, which I would have really liked as well, and the Pima Outrider, but Fabrication Module right in line with what we're doing, so very good. And it actually does have synergy with Territorial Gorger, so that's nice. Ooh, Multiform Wanderer, what a gift. Oh man, this pack has everything. Theorist, obviously the Rhino, they're also good, but we're going to take the Wonder. Because it's a rare, it's energy related, and it's very good. It is a game ender, so. And there's a Prism in here too, geez. This pack really does have everything. Scrap Heap Scrounger. The funny thing is we could actually splash for Scrap Heap Scrounger. But I think we probably want a turtle or a tiger. And let's take the turtle because it's cheaper. It's still very much energy related. So, all right. Turtle it is. I like Toidles. Okay, so we have Trumpeter, which I guess does have synergy with Turtle and Cub And Fabrication Module, that's not bad. That's only 3 cards, though. Artisan, that's 4. Hydra, that's 5. Not Wonder, not... I mean... There's also a Doorbuster. I don't know, is Doorbuster splashable? It probably isn't. That being said, is it a big deal if I take it here? It probably isn't either. None of it is a big deal. I mean, it's a powerful ability. It's just, I can't exactly get behind it on the splash. It just seems unlikely that I would do Trumpeter either. I'm going to take the Doorbuster. I don't think we're going to splash for it, but I'm leaving the option open. So we can take a Gyroper Guide here. I actually think the card is very playable, but maybe we just take the Puzzle Knot. More energy related. Very good. Okay, we'll take the Puzzle Knot. Scry 2 is not bad either. And I suppose we have enough creatures. So, I don't need any of this. Guess we'll take the Judge. It's the best card, but I don't think it's good enough for our deck either. Okay, another Sage. I guess so, yeah. All of these will have very good synergy with Fabrication Module. And at this point, I would probably rather have a Sage over a second Puzzle Knot. I think 2 Puzzle Knots that I don't typically play is good enough. Okay, we can take a second Appetite. Probably end up main decking the 1, especially considering our deck is almost completely devoid of removal, which is going to be a problem. But we don't really need the larger than life. Yeah, we'll take the second Appetite. I don't need any of these. None of these are worth it. Red cards are worth it on the splash. I'm not going to play the Curio Vendor, but seeing as I already have 2 Wily Bandars, I think I'm good. All right, we'll take the Takedown. Certainly an acceptable sideboard card. Don't need any of these. I guess that can get back Multiform Wonder. Okay, Blade Master actually might make the deck. Possibly makes the deck. Terror. Okay. So I guess if I had first picked, once again, if I had first picked the Architect, I would have had a great shell for it. We're still okay because we have some great cards. Hydra and Multiform Wonder. And you know what? I probably am just going to try out the Territorial Gorger. Someone had commented last time that I should have gone for it, so all right, we'll try it. I have a lot of energy-related cards, and I suppose that Gorger could take people out in the late game in certain situations, so let's make some cuts. Let's make some cuts. I still probably want the Torch Gauntlet because we have a lot of just kind of weak creatures, and I think Gauntlet is an acceptable way to try and finish an opponent off. I'm not in love with the Artisan. I don't think the Judge is probably good enough. I think Artist and Doorbuster and Reprisal probably aren't worth the splash. I kind of want to play 16 lands too with Attune because our curve, I think we're going to end up being able to make our curve quite low. At least I'm hoping that we can. Yeah, we should definitely be able to make our curve very low. So if I cut all of these, that puts us right at 24. Is there a creature that I would prefer to play over the Hermit? I mean, I could play the Artist over the Hermit. It might actually be better, even on the splash. Especially considering we're not a very color-intensive deck at all. We have one, I guess we have 2 double color spells. But our base shell is going to be green anyway. And we're very light in blue as well. Blade Master is something I could consider swapping out. But, I'm not positive on that. Like, we could go for all energy-related cards and go a little bit further down the rabbit hole of splashing red. I might be okay with that. I don't think 4 4-drops is too much either. I don't think it is. Yeah, all right. Well, let's do something a little bit interesting. So let's cut the Hermit. Not that Hermit's terrible, but let's go a little bit further down. Let's only main deck one Appetite, I think. And maybe we do cut the Blade Master. And this way, because then I can probably a little more easily justify 17 lands, although, honestly, I could probably still get away with 16 here. This counts as kind of like half land in my mind. Prism doesn't really count as a land, though. Yeah, this is probably fine with 17 lands. I do think it's very possible we could get flooded here, but we have a little card quality increaser here. We have some mana sinks. I just like having all of these energy cards as well. Yeah, I mean, this deck's cool, despite having basically no removal. I actually think this deck is okay. It looks fun. I think you guys will at least be interested in it, right? And like I said, even though we didn't get the Architect, we still have Hydra and Multiform Wonder, which are very good. And we got the Module, which is a bomb in this deck, so... Okay. Yeah, acceptable, certainly. Let's run it like this and get our land situated. So we probably want 2, not 4, not 4. And let's do like this. So 10, well, the problem is I want to play my blue early. So I think I'd prefer to do this. 9, 6, 2. Okay. It's acceptable. Okay, so here's the deck. I hope you folks enjoy it. Once again, we're going for a unique deck. You have, mostly all of you have had enough of me doing my Jund shenanigans, so I'm willing to play things that I think are less consistently good, but more interesting for you folks. So thanks so much for tuning in. I love all of you. Love you all. So we'll see you round 1.